Hey, this is Burgess Jenkins. You're watching Kendall Talks TV.
What's up, guys? It's your host, Kendall Tucker, man, and today's guest has played in several movies and shows, one of those movies being one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Remember the Titans, which is a movie I think the whole country should go back and watch, especially during these times. You can also see him playing roles in One Tree Hill, Army Wives, Nashville, and much, much more. Today we have Burgess Jenkins on with us. How's it going, brother?
Going very well. Going very well. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. How's the quarantine life been treating you?
Gosh, man, I'm not sick, and I don't know anybody who is, so I can't complain. Things are pretty good. Really enjoying some of the simple stuff that I think we have a tendency to take for granted, just hanging out in the yard in a chair, reading a book with my dog, stuff like that. It's pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Making the best of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you've had a lot of success over the years in your acting career. When was the first time that you realized you got the acting bug and wanted to pursue it as a career?
Wow. It's kind of tricky because, I always really liked it ever since I was a kid, but I did some theater and some plays, and I liked that fine, but it wasn't really my thing. And when I was in college, I had an opportunity to do a little bit of film study, and I loved it. So when I got out of school, I just dove in, started reading everything I could get my hands on and studying. I moved to LA and spent year after year just submerged in classes, and I don't know, passion grew pretty quickly. I loved it.
Awesome, man. Now, I read online after studying psychology in graduate school, you went on to study at the Playhouse West in Los Angeles. How did both of these experiences help your career?
Infinitely. So the psychology, it was funny because when I finished up graduate school, I kind of sat back and thought, did I just spend all this time in school and graduate school and all this money and effort, and now I'm wasting it? And it turned out that I had this, I don't know, advantage or an insight that maybe some other people didn't have. It certainly helped me in the idea that I could understand what motivated people from a psychological background. And so I use that constantly. I use it in all of my characters, all the roles I play. As a teacher, I use it constantly to help others to try and get into the mindset and understand what motivates their characters, and then of course find that for themselves. And then as far as Playhouse, I can't be more grateful to Bob Carnegie and Jeff Goldblum. I studied there for about 4.5 years, and a handful of other places as well. But that was certainly the crux of my learning, and it was hard, it was intense and demanding, but super rewarding because it was immersive for me. They didn't accept anything less than what I was capable of, so it was pretty great.
Yeah, that's great, man. I've heard a lot of good things from past, people that have trained over there at the Playhouse West. So that's awesome, man. Now, you're known for a wide range of memorable characters. One of those roles being Ray Buds in the blockbuster film Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. How'd you get that role?
Same as everything else, a lot of process of auditioning. I auditioned for a couple of different characters, and it was multiple call-ins for that. So, pre-reads, multiple callback reads, and standard process, but just a lot of fighting hard for it,
Yeah, I hear you, man. You working with Denzel Washington, what was that experience like? Did you learn anything from working alongside him?
I think you're crazy if you don't learn a lot from being around Denzel,
Yeah.
He's incredible. From just watching him as a young actor, it was one of the greatest gifts I could have had because, first of all, he's so good. He makes everything seem so effortless. And that's, it's a testament when you see a great athlete do something, they make it look simple. If you see a musician, same with an actor, all the work and the effort that goes into understanding and breaking down these characters and then just throwing yourself into what you're doing, take after take after take,
Yeah.
and watching him do that. And I thought I was a hard worker, but then when I saw what he was doing on set, it was pretty mind blowing. So it was great for me to learn that. But then on top of that, I don't know. I think Denzel's pretty well known for this, but to watch him deal with all the other people on set, he was as nice to the PAs and the extras as he was to the director and the other actors. And for me, you know, as a very young green actor just coming around, that was infinitely valuable for him to set that standard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear too, man, because Denzel, he's one of my favorite actors. He's a legend. And that's good to hear because you hear stories about you have your favorite celebrities or athletes, and then you interview some people, and I ask people, and they're like, "Oh, no, he's a freaking behind the camera. He's a punk," like for better words. So it's
I was gonna say that sounded nice.
yeah, for better words. So it's good to hear that he's just a good-hearted person, on and off.
He's a great guy. I think he knows that when you're that big, when you're that well known, people are watching you, and he gets that. He understands there's a responsibility behind being an icon, behind being so well known. That honestly, I've had the good fortune of working with some pretty big name people, I suppose, and I think regularly speaking, people handle it pretty well. But Denzel takes it to another level because he knows that he's a mentor, that he's a role model, and he sets this standard for everybody, this expectation that you handle yourself as a certain way. If you're going to be in a leader's position, you got to act like a leader. And
yeah, absolutely.
It was brilliant. I loved it.
That's awesome, man. Now, do you still keep in touch with anyone from that movie?
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll check in on a few people here and there. It's few and far between, but every once in a while we'll pop a little something back and forth. So that's fun.
Yeah, man. Speaking of the cast from that movie, Ethan Suplee's transformation has been insane. Have you seen or talked to him since he's?
I have not spoken to him in a long time, but oh my gosh, Ethan! I mean, I've been following him on Instagram. It's just like the guy is jacked, and it's amazing to see what he's done. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was just so mind blown the first time I seen it because it's kind of like he stayed quiet for a while. So when he was going through it, he stayed quiet. So he went from this big dude, and then he posted a picture on Instagram. A year or two? I can't remember exactly when it was, but he just posted a picture. And I'm like, wait, what? Like
somebody snapped it and sent it to me, and they were like, "Check this out." And I looked at it, and I was like, "No, that's not. There's no way that's Ethan." And I started looking. I was like, "That's amazing." I mean, and he's all passionate about it too, which I think is super cool that he's taken what he's done.
Yeah.
And he's not just like, I did this. It was like, you can do this too. And he's all big into it now and talking about it. I think it's American Glutton is his site or something like that.
Yeah.
About it. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm very proud of him. What's your ideal role? What kind of movie / character fits Burgess Jenkins the best?
Anything not like me. There's a great quote. I think it's from Daniel Day-Lewis, and if I misquote Mr. Lewis, my mistake. But he said, I think there was an interview where he was asked, "Why do you play all these crazy characters? They're so different from you." And he said, "Well, why would I want to play a middle-class Englishman? I do that every day." So I that resonates with me. I like the bad guy. I like the good guy. I like everything in between. But the ones that really resonate with me are the ones that ask me to dig deep in any direction. I mean, in Noel that came out last Christmas, I've
seen that
goofball, and it's so much fun just being this big lovable goofball. And then not too long ago, I did a movie where I was this just maniacal bad guy who's, kidnapping somebody and going to threaten to kill him. And it's playing roles like that. There is a great quote from Oscar Wilde, and it's on my studio wall, and it says, "I love acting. It's so much more real than life because you can do anything you want." And that's the fun part. I love that. So anyway, anything not me is what I like.
That's cool, man. Now, do you have a dream role, something you'd like to try that you have not been cast for yet?
Gosh, man. I mean, there's so many dream roles, So I read stuff, and if it resonates, then I love it. Sometimes you think it'd be fun to play a superhero or something like that because my daughter'd love it. She
Yeah.
think that's super cool. But I mean, not really. When I see stuff and it resonates, I get excited.
I hear you, man. Yeah, I most of the time when I ask that question to someone, most of the answer that I get is maybe a Marvel movie or something, superhero or something. That'd be cool because they're so far in between, So it's like it'd be cool to do some kind of superhero movie.
I mean, well, who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
pretty freaking cool. So yeah.
Now, out of all the projects you've been involved in, what project has been the most fun to work on?
These are tough questions. I like them all for different reasons. Titans was so great because it was an iconic part in an iconic movie that taught me so much. And I got to work with some amazing actors. Army Wives, because I got to play a soldier who was embattled, had drinking problems and family problems. I got to go spend some time at Fort Bragg with soldiers.
Nice.
And really get to know those guys and have them share some of their stories. So that was amazing. God, man, I could go on and on. There's so many to choose from, but I would say those are pretty high up there. They were a lot of fun. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Now, speaking of family and stuff, like you mentioned, you're a family man. How do you strike a balance between your career and family? Because I know a lot of times, at least you hear, like when you shoot a movie, it's months at a time, and I know you could be gone a lot of hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy because, like you said, it's haphazard, and you don't know when you get the call. You might have to pack a bag and be gone in 2 days, and you're going to be gone for 6 weeks, or so you don't really know. But I think, I guess I think it's like anything else. If you really just carve out time to make sure that you're really spending quality time with your family when you're together, and you're not just, wasting it. You're not just gliding through it. So we make the most of it and got a lot of really good times, good memories. And we make the most of all the time we have together. So yeah, I don't know. It's priority. It's prioritizing.
That's good, man. Now, has your daughter found an interest in acting? Do you think she's going to follow those footsteps?
Well, I'm laughing because we were just having this conversation, she and I, yesterday. She loves it. She really does enjoy it, but it's one of those things where she has so many interests right now that she's, playing tennis and piano, and she's very artistic and creative, and she loves to bake, and she takes cooking classes, and she's 13. So she's doing all kinds of different stuff and enjoying it. And, as a parent and as an actor, I'm not about to push it on her. If she wants to do it, then that's cool. But it's a crazy ride. Being an actor is a crazy ride. So if you're not pretty excited and passionate about it, then, I think it's probably something you want to avoid.
Yeah. And it's funny because I ask a lot of people when I interview them, I say, what's some advice you could give someone wanting to pursue this career? And most of them say, don't do it. But then they're like, that's like the first thing they say. And they're like, no, if you really want to do it. But, just be ready for the ride.
I'd fall on the opposite side of that coin. I would say it's amazing. I mean, if you get good training, if you're really immersed in this, and you do what it really takes to be a good actor, which is the exploration of self, of you, to figure out what makes you tick, and you throw yourself into it, the first time you have a scene or an exercise where this part of you just comes alive and you realize it's not acting. It's not me saying a bunch of words and hoping somebody likes it. It's me pouring my guts out, and I can do anything I want. And when you figure that out, that you can do anything you want, it's very freeing. And you start to go, wait a minute. This is limitless. This is tons of fun. So I guess, I don't know. I would say if you have an interest in it, you should pursue it with gusto, and then you'll figure out whether or not you want to make a career of it. But I've loved every step of the way. I mean, you have your frustrations because it's extremely hard business. I mean, make no bones about it. It's about as hard as it gets. But you go figure it out and not just turn away. I think a lot of people turn away from it because they hear the naysayers. They hear parents or friends or whatever say, it's really hard. yeah, it's really hard, but then, anything worth having is. So, that's my
Absolutely.
piece on it.
Well, that's good
Yeah.
advice, man. Now, I know COVID-19 has put a stop to the entertainment industry for a little while, but can we expect to see you in anything new anytime soon? Have you done any filming for anything that's going to be coming out soon?
Yeah, I'm directing a movie right now. I'm in the middle of that. Of course, that guy shut down.
Yeah.
And they're doing a pilot I'm casting a pilot that we were supposed to start shooting last month, but I don't know when we're going to pick it back up. I'm going to guess middle of next month, and it's based on a very popular '80s movie, and I'm very stoked about that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh,
So.
really cool. You said you're casting it?
No, I'm directing a movie, but I'm also casting a pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm a part in that pilot. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very cool. That's exciting, man.
Yeah, you were breaking up with me a couple of times there. I don't know if you heard any of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you. That's cool, man. That's exciting. It's a popular '80s movie, huh?
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it yet. So very popular '80s movie, and they're making a pilot about it. So I grew up watching it. It's very cool to be a part of it. I'm excited.
That's awesome, man. Now, how can people follow you on social media and stay up to date on what you got going on?
Instagram, Twitter, that stuff. What is it? BJenkins34 is my Instagram handle. So if you want to check that out, feel free. Love to have you.
Very cool, man. Well, Burgess, man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sitting down with me today. I look forward to seeing more of your work, and we'll have to do it again in the near future in person.
Yeah, man, I look forward to it. And one quick editorial note on Nick Cirillo, because I watched your interview with good Nick from Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And I appreciate his humility. And he's like, I don't know about all this, about how he booked parts and, about how he's worked on a few things. Very, very humble about it. Kid's a worker. I mean, he was one of my students for a long time, and he's a hard worker. Yeah. He was one of my students.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I was watching it going, I appreciate his humility, but don't let that kid fool you. He's a hard worker. And he's an awesome kid and a great actor. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, he kind of stepped back and acted like, oh, kind of fell in my lap,
No, it did not. That guy is the definition of being prepared for an opportunity when it comes along. So he was prepared.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me, bro.
Anytime, man. You take care.
You too.